Spain is an amazing country where the sun shines 365 days a year. That's why Spain was nicknamed the Kingdom of the Sun. And the most sun here is in the southernmost region of Iberian Peninsula, Andalusia. It is the second largest autonomous region in Spain, with a length of about 600 kilometers. Therefore, you will need at least 7 days to see its most prominent places. Impressive white villages and walks around the famous castles of Islamic architecture, amazing cathedrals, fortresses and national parks are waiting for you here. Andalusia is so beautiful that it has been the location of many iconic films and series such as Star Wars and Game of Thrones. In addition, you will be captivated by the passionate art of flamenco. Here you can try tapas snacks and sherry wine. And by getting to know the locals better, you will learn their ability to enjoy life. We have an amazing week ahead of you. Although the capital of Andalusia is Sevilla, it is most convenient to arrive in another city, Malaga, on the coast of the Costa del Sol. Although the airport in Malaga is relatively small, it receives many international flights. There are many ways to get from the airport to the city. On the website of local rental companies such as Malaga Car, Marbesol or Click Rent, you can find favorable car rental offers. Public transport in Spain is also very extensive. You can get from Malaga Airport either by express bus, which will take you to the bus station and train station, which are nearby, or by metro, which will take you to the same point but cheaper. Express buses are located right next to the exit of the arrival terminal. You will find information about them at special stops. And to find the subway, you will need to walk about 50 meters further. You can buy a ticket in special machines. There are usually rent-free employees here to help you sort things out. An important point: when buying your first ticket in Malaga, do not throw it away. First, because you will have to scan it both at the entrance to the subway and at the exit, which is closely monitored by employees. And secondly, this ticket acts as a travel ticket. It can be topped up and then subsequent trips will be cheaper. Malaga has a lot to show off, because it is one of the oldest cities in Europe, the history of which is about 3000 years old, and its climate is suitable for tourism at any time of the year. Get ready to explore Malaga's castles, old Moorish and Roman ruins, enjoy stunning views, eat mouth-watering food and wander around the historic center. Few cities in the world preserve so many traces of the transition of cultures. The Phoenicians founded a commercial center here in the 8th century BC and called it Malacca, a place for salting fish. Then it was chosen for the Greeks and Carthaginians, who turned the city into a real trading enclave. But already in the 3rd century BC, Malacca was captured by the Romans, making it part of the Roman Empire. Renaming the city to Flavia Malacita, they built here a port and a Roman amphitheater, which has been perfectly preserved to this day. By the way, we suggest you to start exploring the city from it. In addition, you can see the Teatro Romano de Malaga completely free of charge. This picturesque stone rudiment was built in the 1st century AD, during the reign of Emperor Augustus. Unusually for the Romans, it was built on a hillside in a Greek style and was in continuous use by the Romans until the 3rd century. Buried underground, it was kept there until 1951, when it was accidentally discovered during the restoration of the House of Culture. The Spanish decided that the Casa de la Cultura, which was only 10 years old at the time, was not as important as a Roman theater, so they demolished it to make place for excavation. The proscenium stage appeared first from the ground. Then the remains of the orchestra, seats for senators and important persons. The stand has a radius of 31 meters and rose to height of 16 meters. Nowadays, the old building has been used again for its immediate purpose. So in the summer performances are held here for several hundred people, which it can accommodate. Nearby is a free visitor center that contains all the information about the theater's history. Also, here you can see the original fragments of the Lex Flavia Malacitana, the municipal code of laws that granted the freeborn people of Malaga the privileges of Roman citizenship. Already in the 8th century AD, the city was recaptured from the Romans by the Moors, joining it to their caliphate. They renamed it Malaga, and in the 11th century they built the Alcazaba Fortress here. This picturesque Moorish citadel is considered one of the most important of its kind in Spain. It began to be built during the reign of the Berber king Babis den Habus, also known for building an impregnable citadel and palaces in Granada, for which he received the nickname Nasser, Defender. Over the years, the Alcazaba has been resorted several times, but its original grandeur and impressive beauty remain unchanged. Although what can be seen even with the naked eye, for the construction of the Alcazaba, parts of the older ancient buildings were used, including columns and capitals taken from the Roman theatre, which is located at the foot of the fortress. For centuries, Alcazaba was under the rule of various Muslim dynasties, the Almoravides, the Almohad Caliphate and the Nasrid dynasty. But it was under the kingdom of the Nasrids in the 13th century that the Alcazaba experienced its greatest prosperity, because they turned it from the outside into a grand fortress, and inside, on the contrary, it acquired change of delicate beauty that can only be compared with the architecture of the Alhambra in Granada. It can be said that Alcazaba is Granada in miniature. In the 15th century, the Alcazaba faced its first major siege when a Muslim army of 15,000 resisted an army of 80,000 Catholic troops for 4 months. In the end, the Muslim had to surrender. The fortress was maintained in good condition until the 17th century, but then, due to 2 important events, its external condition deteriorated. First, due to a strong earthquake in 1680, and later due to the attack of French ships that destroyed it during the 9 Years' War. Since then, the fortress was used for various purposes, as a prison, then as a hospital. Its lower part served as ordinary residential buildings, until finally, in the 20th century, work on its restoration began, and the complex was declared a historical heritage of Spain. Today the complex can be visited on foot or by elevator from Guillén Sotelo Street in front of the city hall. There are 3 courtyards inside the palace. One of them, Los Surtidores, has a central fountain and original arches from the Caliphate period. From here you can climb to the outstanding Nasrid Palace with its courtyard lined with orange trees, and Almadura Mudehar tower with its 16th century wooden coffin ceiling and a detailed model of the Alcazaba, and the Maldonado Tower, which offers spectacular views of the entire city and the bay. In the 14th century AD, another Nasrid king, Yusuf I, expanded and added to the fortress of Alcazaba, building the Gibralfaro Castle on the top of the hill to accommodate the troops and protect the Alcazaba. This made it one of the most protected of all in Al-Andalus, Andalusia. We recommend you buy a complex ticket to Alcazaba and Gibralfaro for €5.50, which is valid for 2 days. If you decide to buy them separately, then visiting each complex will cost you €3.50. Gibralfaro Castle dominates the entire city and is located on the mountain of the same name. It got its name from toponymic features. Jabal in Arabic means the top of the hill, and Farouch comes from the Greek pharos, or lighthouse. It is connected to the Alcazaba through a fortified road. The Coracha is a walled corridor that allowed soldiers to move safely from the one place to another. In the upper part of the castle walks, you can walk alone in the patrol pass and feel like a soldier of an ancient era who carefully watched the city and the sea so that no enemy slipped by. Some parts of the castle have previewed their original paint decoration, but the arches, walls, doors and inner parts of the doors were repaired in different times that they look quite strange in their combination. One of the most important features is the iron well, 40 meters deep, dug into the living rock to access the water artery. There is also a rainwater collection system here, but it is hidden under the castle so that the enemies could not get to it and poison the army. What else is there? Two bread ovens built in the Christian period, several guardhouses of different periods, different times and location. And the most interesting thing is the museum, which was built on the site of former powder warehouse. During the Spanish War of Independence, this castle became the scene of important events. But unfortunately, the French, faced with a strong resistance from the Spanish army and partisans, retreating from Andalusia in 1812, blew up all the fortifications in Gibralfaro, Torre Nueva, New Tower, the outer defense structure, barracks, naval battery and powder warehouse. After that, the fortress was used only as barracks and military prison, until in 1925 it was handed off to the city council and turned into a tourist attraction. Nowadays, Gibralfaro Castle remains the same majestic structure as in ancient times, and its walls still bear traces of many bloody wars. Before continuing the walk, we advise you to rest and have a snack at the Plaza de la Constitución in the historic center of the city. During the time of the Nasrides, it was called Plaza Mayor, Main Square, but after Spain gained independence, it received a new name, Constitution Square. Our next stop will be the Cathedral of the Incarnation, Santa Iglesia Cathedral Basilica de la Encarnación, which is visible from anywhere in the city. It is a stunning example of Spanish church architecture that combines Gothic, Renaissance and Baroque. Construction began in the 1530s on the site of the former Almoravid Mosque and continued until the 17th century. However, even today the Malaga Cathedral is unfinished, which is why the locals nicknamed it La Manquita, which means one-armed lady in Spanish, because the southern tower of the cathedral was never completed. The history of the cathedral is closely related to the Great Mosque on which it was built. In principle, there is nothing surprising in this. Many Spanish cathedrals are built on the site where mosques once stood. Its origins date back to 1487, when the city of Malaga was conquered by Castilian troops. It was then that the Aljama Mosque became a cathedral dressed in Christian garb with late Gothic decorative elements and consecrated as Santa Maria de la Encarnación. The original project, of which nothing remains, belonged to the famous architect Diego de Siloé from Burgos, the author of many extractions in Granada and Guadix. In 1768, the cathedral was opened for worship. Although it was still unfinished, the Napoleonic invasion and subsequent confiscations prevented the work from continuing during the 19th century. In 1862, Queen Isabella II visited Malaga and put forward the idea of completing the construction of the temple, but it never happened. The evolution of each stage of construction led to the creation of its huge temple with a complex structure and various styles, and the fact of its incompleteness made this cathedral famous not only in Andalusia, but also in all of Spain. Do not forget to visit one of the Malaga's important museums, for example, the Carmen Thyssen Museum, which exhibits works of the Andalusian painting of the 18th century, or the Picasso Museum. Did you know that Pablo Ruiz Picasso was born in Malaga? From Plaza de la Merced, we go on the route of the famous artist. Here we can visit the 19th century house where he was born, the bustling square where he spent the first years of his life. On Granada Street we will find a Gothic church of Santiago, one of the oldest in the city, where he was baptized. And in a few steps we reach the museum of this unique artist, opened in 2003 in the Buena Vista Palace of the 16th century, where approximately 200 of his work in various styles are exhibited. Do you want to spend time shopping? You have a great opportunity to stroll along the famous Larios Street, which is home for many famous shops, as well as Tony Craig's sculpture, the artist's first work in steel in Spain. Nearby is the main market, on the site of the Islamic shipyard where the Moors repaired boats. And nowadays, this place is full of colorful stalls with fresh products, which envelop you in a real lively atmosphere. Take the opportunity to drink beer here with delicious local mussels. Malaga is not only a city with a long history, but also a wonderful seaside resort. Even in winter you can warm up on the beach here, because the average daytime temperature is 17 degrees. So if the water doesn't seem too cold for you, be sure to visit La Malagueta Beach. The Alboran Sea, which washes the southern part of Spain, will delight you with its transparency, and the beach with clean white sand. But even if the weather is not suitable for swimming in the sea, still take a walk along Palmeral de las Sorpresas, which will take you to the port area known as Muelle Uno. Here you will find the original colored building Coupe, which belonged to the St. George's Pompidou. Do not spare the effort to walk a little further and reach the ancient lighthouse of La Farola, built in 1816. Numerous shops and restaurants along the coastline will not let you get bored this evening. In addition, you will be able to admire one of the most beautiful sunsets, which can only be seen in Malaga.